Today we're diving into Shieldaig's 12-year Rum Cask Single Malt, a relatively new name from a surprising flavor profile. What specific tasting notes like apricot, lime, and toffee come through thanks to the Rum Cask influence? How does Shieldaig's 12-year perform as a sipping scotch? Which food pairings best enhance this scotch's unique flavors and which ones fall short? How can you create an ideal highball scotch cocktail with Shieldaig's 12-year and what adjustments bring out the best in this whiskey? Stick around because I'll be sharing all this and more. Today I got something new for you. We're going to visit the Shieldaig. It's a 12-year and it's a Rum Cask Finish. Of course, I'm going to take a look at the presentation. We're going to learn a little bit about the company. It's relatively new, so there's not a whole lot to learn. We're going to learn about its region. I'm going to put it on I'm going to take a look at the presentation, put it on the nose, put it on my palate, and then do some pairings. And I think I'm even going to make a cocktail for you. So I want you to sit back and relax, pour yourself a nice drink in. Let's get started. Shieldaig is a relatively new player in the whiskey game. They're from an area in the Scottish Highlands, Speyside, which I guess is the northeast of Scotland, where you're going to get a bunch of other distilleries like Glenmorangie, Glenlivet, Glenfiddich. There's probably like 60 different distilleries in the area. And they're basically produced for Total Wine, so that's kind of interesting. And Shieldaig is a village name. That's the name of the area where this comes from, and that's the name that they use for this. And that's, like I said, in northeast Scotland in the Speyside region. There's not a lot more to know than that, so it's a little bit of a mystery. But I'm going to do a whole series on it. I'm going to do the 12-year, which is just the 12-year aged. Then I'm going to do a 12-year that's aged with Rum Cask Finish. And from what I understand, these rum casks are American rum and European rum casks. And do I like Rum Cask Finish? Yeah, I think it adds and imparts something special to the whiskey. Do I think it's going to do something amazing here? I don't know. I don't know if they have enough of a history, but they might be bottling from distilleries that have a lot of experience bottling like this. So maybe we're going to be in for a treat. From what I know, there's a 12-year. There's this 12-year. There's a 12-year that's just a normal 12-year age statement. There's 18-year. There's a 21-year, a 25-year, and a 30-year. So I like the variety. I like the different price points. I like to try those different levels out and see what I think of each tier. So I'm actually kind of glad that Total Wine did this. There's another brand that I like that I think also has something to do with Total Wine. I think it was called Barrowmans. I'm pretty sure. Barrowmans, they had an 18-year, 21-year, and a 25-year. Grand Cru. That 25-year Barrowmans, I got a video about it. Check it out. I also have the comparison of them all as well. And if that's a Total Wine brand, in love with it, maybe I'm going to have the same thing that's going to happen here with this Shieldaig. It's Old Norse. The name Shieldaig is Old Norse for lock of the herring. Don't really know what that means. I'm going to figure it out, and I'll share it with you once I know. But let's take a look. Now we're going to take a look at the presentation of this. Like I said, it's a Rum Cask Finish, American and European casks. So that's pretty cool. I like what they did here. I like that. It's got like that redwood look. I think that's really attractive, actually. I like this gold S. Very nice. The text looks good. I like the artwork that they've done on it. I think it really adds to the appeal of it. I think sometimes that packaging can look kind of boring, which there's nothing wrong with that. If you've got a great product, you've got a lot of tradition, there's nothing wrong with that. But every once in a while, I like for somebody to just throw a little bit of something interesting out there so that if you give it as a gift to someone and maybe they're not a huge whiskey fan, they'll go, wow, this looks nice. I should try it out. So I'm glad they did that there. It's got some text on the back. It's got some embossing with the lettering of Shieldaig in the back. And let's see what it says. Single Malt Scotch Whiskey Speyside. Taking the name from the Old Norse Shieldaig, the lock of herring is truly a wild and beautiful place. The sharp fragrance of pine-studded islands, the flash of silver herring in the dark waters of the loch. Oh, there you go. So lock of herring. That's the herring in the waters. Got it. The shawls of mist around the shoulders of the nearby Torridon Hills. Raise a glass of Shieldaig, and you'll experience a reflection of this epic landscape in the complex yet balanced flavors of this fine single malt Scotch whiskey. Of course, we love us a single malt, so nice. On the nose, it says light and grassy, pleasant, soft fruitiness, apples, apricot, rhubarb, orange peel, and toffee. That is not normal for a whiskey. So I'm really excited about that. What are they even talking about? Grassy? Fruitiness? What? Apricot? Apple? I mean, apples I've seen, but apricot? Of course, toffee, I know that. Orange peel? Really interesting. Palate. Delicate with pleasing fruitiness, lime, chocolate, silky caramel, and floral notes. And then finish. Long and crisp with oak and citrus. So, nice. Open it up. It's got, tin on the top. Almost like a gold to it. Gold foil. Love it. I love this when they do little things like this. I don't know if I like the gold they use for this. It's kind of cheap, but besides that, looks great. It says Rum Cask Finish, aged 12 years. This 12-year-old Shieldaig single malt whiskey enjoyed a finishing period in a mixture of American and European casks previously used to age the finest rum. These rum casks impart light and grassy fruit notes, creating a complex yet well-balanced flavor. It's fine Speyside Scotch whiskey. Excellent. I mean, I think that's nice. It's cute. All right, let's go ahead and take off the foil, and let's see what this looks like. I mean, also it's got like an amber to it that's a little bit more red than I expected. When I think of rum, I mean, yes, there's a little bit of red to this, so it's nice. We're gonna give it a go. Let's hear it. Well, nice. I don't smell that grassiness yet, but give it an opportunity. Let's see. Oh, the fruit. Wow. I do smell the apple, the apricot, the rhubarb. The grassiness I'm not really picking up on. That's like almost chlorophyll. Think of something green, like a leaf when you break it up, or grass when you cut it in the morning. You think of that smell, that dewiness that's left over. I mean, it might be there subtly, but not a lot. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put this on my palate, see what I think. Spicy. Very much spicy in the nose. A little rough. I would say it's not rough in a bad way. I would say they have a little tiny bit of smokiness, but it's very, very subtle, not a huge amount of it, which I like, because you should have a little bit of that. I think it adds to complexity and adds to the depth of the whiskey. But on the smoothness, I'm going to put this at about maybe a 6. Not bad. It's a little smoother than I expected it to be, but I think the rum added something special, so it's interesting. I'm going to bring out my pairings. I've got some almonds that are actually wasabi and soy sauce flavor. So, wow. Let's see what that does with the whiskey. Spicy. Hits the tongue, a lot of flavor. But the kind of flavor of real wasabi. I don't know if you know the difference. They have that wasabi paste. Not really into it. Nothing wrong with that when you go to sushi. If you like that, good for you. But I like the real wasabi that comes like a little chunky. It's got true flavor in it. It smells and tastes delicious. Very strong on the palate. And really adds something special to sushi. The two of those together, amazing, honestly. Then I've got this dark chocolate cashew. I'd say it's a bit of a miss. I got something interesting here. This is a thin dark chocolate with sea salt and caramel. So let's see what we think. Caramel's a little too heavy. Coated my mouth a little too much. I've got to say, so there's something else that's interesting about this. Almost like an oiliness. A little bit of oil from the whiskey, probably most likely from the barrel, but it's nice. I like that oil. I think it adds texture to the mouth. And when you put the two together, this caramel bite with this, it's probably a little too much. So I prefer the saltiness in the wasabi to cut through. That's why that almond right there might be the best. All right, so those are my pairings. So far, I'm enjoying the whiskey. I'm going to make us the cocktail. Remember, you can do whatever you want with your whiskey. It's your whiskey. You could drink it with things if you want. You could share it with people. You can enjoy it alone. It's your decision to make. But for me, every once in a while, especially if it's a lower tier whiskey, I do not mind making a cocktail. So that's what we're going to do today. Need some ice. This is a highball glass. It's a very tall glass. You can do ones that are thinner. You do ones that are a little bit wider. Up to you. I've got an orange. Of course, I'm going to flatten it out a little bit by putting some pressure on it, really releasing the juices on the interior, also releasing the oils. I'm also going to get my stirrer. Important. You don't want to beat your drink up too much. Some people do. They put it inside a shaker. That's their decision. I don't always do that. I've got my Angostura. These are bitters. They're aromatic. They add a little bit of zest to the cocktail, which is important to me. And of course, I've got my knife. And I've got myself some mineral water. You can do soda water. You can do whatever you want. It's up to you. I like Topo Chico. So that's what we have. And I'm even going to add a little bit of orange and pineapple. Not sure how much of this I want to add yet, so I'm going to hold off on it for a second. But we're going to start with some soda water. I love that fizzy sound. It's nice. I always add a little bit of mint early on. Other people might not do that, but I'm okay with that. Put it on the rim. Kind of drop it inside. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure out. I think I'm going to go a little strong this time. No. Yeah, I'll probably go even. I'm going to do 2 of the whiskey, 2 parts of the whiskey. Because this whiskey is actually kind of light and fruity, which is surprising. So I think that's going to do well with this. And then the Serono, I'm going to do, let's say 2 parts. And yes, this is a mega bottle. And it looks really nice on display. And I think it's more than enough to last you for like maybe a decade. So, good stuff. Unless you're a heavy drinker or you throw a lot of parties. All right. I don't need much in terms of the Angostura, but I'm just going to add a little drop. You know, like 2 or 3 drops there. Give everything a little bit of a mix. Don't need to beat it up. A little bit of a mix. Make sure it's spread around. Take my orange that I pressed very hard. Release the oils. Cut off some of this beautiful skin. Great smell. A lot of oil there. I'm going to try to get that oil to come off onto the rim of the glass. You can almost see it spraying, you know. That's what you want. A little bit of that there. I'm actually going to get a little bit of the orange from the interior as well. So I can have a little bit of juice. Drop some of that juice inside. I like the flavor, but I don't like to overdo it, you know. I want it to be subtle. I don't want it to be so strong that it overwhelms everything. Give it a little mix. Take my mint. Always like to get the juices loose. Some people don't. That's up to them. I put a little bit in my hand. A little bit more soda. I like it to be fizzy. And you could just dress it up however you see fit. Up to you how pretty you want to make it. This is what I like. Let's see what we think. Love it. Love the smell. Love the taste. Wow. And I'm going to give it just a little tiny bit of this orange and pineapple. Not much, just add a little tiny bit more citrus. And remember, you can make it as pretty as you want. It's up to you. Love it. Something I could drink on a regular basis. How do I feel about the whiskey? I think it's great in a cocktail. I actually think it's amazing in this cocktail. I could drink, 4 or 5 of those in a night, no problem. I could serve it to other people without feeling bad about it. Drinking it straight, I think it's good. I think for its price point and its tier, I think it's pretty darn amazing. Shieldaig is something new to me, and I might keep this in my collection, to be honest. This might be something that I'll keep on hand on a regular basis, which I'm pretty surprised about. I didn't expect that. So, those are my thoughts about it. Hope you learned something today. Hope you learned a little bit about the brand. We're going to visit the rest of these bottles. Like I said, the 12-year, the other 12-year, that's just a straight 12-year. Then we're going to go, I think it was a 15-year, 18-year, 21, 25, and then a 30-year. So I hope to see you here again. Look forward to that comparison. We've been doing it on other whiskeys as well. Always like, subscribe, and share. Let me know your thoughts. Always write to me. I want to hear and I want to communicate with you and share my thoughts as well. Thank you very much for joining me.